Hey guys, welcome to my full Equate review. Thought it'd be finally time to share my thoughts. So I've been using it for a little bit over a month, and I'll just go over the basics and then kind of my thoughts. But it comes with your usual OEM rubber base, what you expect of stitching. It's only 3 millimeters, so the stitching is pretty easy to feel when you hit your mouse against it. And the base itself, a lot of people have complaints about this, but a little tip I noticed for Xraypad's bases in general, the cleaner your desk is and the cleaner the pad is, the less it will actually move. For reference, I just cleaned my desk and wiped down the base of the pad before I threw it back on my desk. And it's pretty hard to get it to move. Obviously, the surface of your desk matters, but a little tip, it might help you out if it's moving and you already own one. But in game, I only have to readjust it about like maybe once a day. But it really depends on the type of game I'm playing. If I'm really, I mean, like other than Valorant, if you're in Kovacs and you're doing a really wide like flick scenario where maybe you're throwing your arm, it might move a bit more. But usually in like Valorant, it's not actually moving too much for myself. But if you're, yeah, again, if you like use your arm a lot and you're very light and don't put a lot of weight on the pad, it definitely can move more if you just lightly brush it, for example. But what's unfortunate about it being 3 millimeters is that, for reference, they have 4 millimeters pads now. So I'll try to show you guys the difference. You might be able to see it just on camera. You know, it's pretty hard to show, but 4 millimeters, 3 millimeters. The 4 millimeter stitching that they offer now, I hope they update the Equate with it, but the stitching is a bit softer, more flush with the pad, and the base is a bit heftier. So this makes the newer 4 millimeter pads a lot more premium feeling and just better for more types of desks in general. So it's a little bit unfortunate that they haven't updated the Equate yet, but regardless, we'll go into the surface and just speed. The surface, the best way I can describe it is it feels like a basketball, or like a very powdery, like a powder coat on metal, but obviously like a cloth soft type feeling. If you're using your bare arm, it's not going to really be irritating. Personally, I've used much rougher pads, and it's not as rough as like their faster pads, such as like Aqua Control or anything like that. It's just a very unique feeling surface. For most of the slow pads I use, they're always like a soft cloth surface, and this is the first one that has like a very unique surface feel compared to other cloth surfaces. And what's nice about this surface in general is that durability wise, it's going to be a bit better than normal cloth, and it has a bit better humidity resistance. Now keep in mind, it's not humidity proof, so if you live in an environment that's like really insane and it's swapping up a lot, you might want to look into other factors to help control your humidity. But yeah, it does have a bit more humidity resistance and will definitely hold up better in that type of environment compared to like a GSR. Speed wise, it's slightly faster than a GSR, but it's still a slow pad. Like, you'll notice it's not the exact same speed as a GSR, but it's not something like a GSR SE. It's definitely a lot closer to a GSR speed-wise. It's pretty like the speed, like static versus dynamic is pretty unique in the fact that like very small micro adjustments and slower movements of the pad will feel a lot more controlled than like a fast flick. But because of like the pretty high static friction in comparison to the dynamic friction, you still have a decent amount of stopping power. So I found it like it might be a better pick for if you play other games more than tax shooters. Like I could probably use this pad for Fortnite Apex because you still get a decent amount of dynamic movement for those long, wide flicks to like tracking you have to do. Once you flick and then start tracking, it's going to be very controlled. So it is pretty unique in that way. But for my overall thoughts, I'd say if you want a smaller size pad, like 500 times 500 or below, I'd say to wait for the 4 millimeter thickness just to get the better base. But if you're someone who likes having your entire desk or a giant desk pad, the 3 millimeter is just fine, and you'll have plenty of space, and you won't have to worry about the slightly worse stitching or the base because the size will be so big that it won't be able to move anyways. And also for the pricing of this pad, it's very fair with all the sizing options, and they're pretty much available worldwide. Xraypad customer support is pretty good too, and they'll take care of you if you have any shipping damages or anything like that. So overall, like, yeah, this is like definitely a top 3 surface for me. I just wish they would give it some love and update it sooner. And if like Artisan had like this surface on their base and stitching, it would probably be my endgame pad. Just quality wise and feel wise, it's like it's manageable and it would be really nice. I feel like a softer base would definitely benefit this surface a lot. But yeah, I say it's like a top 3 surface for me. I'll probably still use the Kinsu 2 Pro just because I don't have humidity issues and it's a slightly bigger size. But yeah, I like it a lot overall. Anyways, if you guys have the pad and you have any thoughts about it, feel free to let me know. I really like hearing you guys' thoughts on it, and let me know how you guys like that new camera quality. Peace.